And welcome on back once again, homies, to the NACL. Last week before playoffs, we are almost about ready to get into our next little round of games. Of course, I'm Ravish, joined here once again by Destrux and BDB to get into what we got going on. Homies, we have DSG versus Supernova, but before that, Destrux, I want to introduce the standings and where we currently uplift ourselves and look at where the teams are staying.
Okay. I will say there is one update on the standings that has already come through. That 5th place slot is now, well, not locked in, but now confirmed that Fear cannot go below that. They are not below that. Excuse me. Can't get kicked out of the playoffs. There we go. I got my words together.
I'm proud of you, Eric.
We're working fun. Try my hardest, Pete. Try my hardest, man. But yeah, it's really good for them because the scenarios they had to go through to make sure that they were going to secure this spot. This was definitely the best situation, one of the better situations they had, because they do have Maryville that will be later on, which then puts your eyes onto Maryville, and it's like, man, can they do it? Can they get out? Can they pull themselves up over that cliff and not fall with the rest?
It's Supernova who are watching today, because right now, 10th place there, tied in record with Team Fish Tacos, and Supernova, they're on the struggle bus right now because they're our next matchup against DSG, and a win is paramount if they want any chance of making it over the red line.
And you said it as well, Beat. So let's go look at DSG. First up, right, these guys have, coming into the split, we said it constantly, we looked at one of our top teams. I know, Nate, you had them right around third, but still, the C9 core, and of course with the additions of Young as well too, all right, and Michu, some of the younger boys here, but Destrux, DSG have looked better and better.
I'm just gonna say, Ravish, have you seen these? Is this your first time actually seeing these?
I've seen these quite a long time. I'm familiar with the disguised style of arcs. It's incredible.
Yeah, well, this team definitely has been getting better. I attribute a little bit of that to the meta over with Young, now that melees are becoming more and more within the settings to go ahead and pick in the draft phase. Young looks spectacular on champions such as Silas and whatnot, so he can shine out a little bit more as opposed to previous where you were just hard stuck on Annie. Meech as well has been a star player still. I had a lot of questions over back when he was back on CLG as to how much of an impact his lane was giving him. Well, he's got Zazel, so that's not really going to change too much. He just has to keep shining bright, and he is.
And speaking of shining bright, one team that has got to shine like a star here, Nate, is Supernova. Because they've got a lot of work ahead of them.
They may be going through a bit of a Supernova on theirs, in their own right, just because this is a team where they've had a lot of their struggles here in summer splits, and right now, as we saw in the standings, they are currently in 10th place. They have a tough weekend ahead of them as well, a lot of difficult matches to overcome, and even splitting series could be what put them over the top to either push Team Fish Taco out or Maryville, because those are the three teams who are really just getting down and dirty and fighting it out to make sure they can stay top 8.
Exactly that. So I want to present a couple of scenarios to you. Right? We're gonna look at a quick little foldy sheet in a second, just to kind of presume. Big shout out Josh for helping put this together. And with all him, just with all the stats and numbers and compilations, it might. It's hard enough. It might look a little bit intimidating, but just
because it is.
Just to kind of like look at this from a grasp. It's like these are the scenarios that we are presented with for potentially Supernova making it through. And Nate, it's not optimistic, but there are options here.
Right, and the big thing too is I want to point out is that when Josh made this, we were talking about it, and he's going with the assumption that they'll lose to teams like DSG, FlyQuest Challengers, Team Liquid Challengers, which realistically, I think that's completely fair. And if these things go as expected, these are the potential routes coming through here. 12 wins is the big thing that you're hoping for, just like 16 guarantees that you are above the cutoff and you're not worried about losing your playoff spot over together, or rather altogether. And it's tough for both of these teams because Maryville, they're currently a win ahead at the moment here, but it's tough. They were way further before, but they went 0-6 last weekend, which is what really put them in danger of falling below top 8. A reminder, The bottom 2 teams here in summer will automatically go to the promotion tournament and have to play for their chances to make it back in spring 2024.
Exactly that. Now, Eric, I know we were a little bit intimidated by all the numbers and math. I think you and I as bald men, can relate. Okay.
Yeah, no, he's good at math. You didn't know?
That was my field of study, Ravish.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Okay, I'm alone on this.
To be fair, I didn't know that until like a month ago or something when you just told me suddenly.
Well, let's go ahead and match some things out. And
trying to
one
get away
simple
from it, bro.
statement is that DSG are good. No math needed for that. And these kind of directly display why here, Eric. Oh my, oh my.
Yeah, DSG has been a team that is shaping up oh so beautifully well. I already talked about Young and Meech. Now I get to talk about the rest of the squad. Fake Odd was an early contender for most valuable prospect, at least in Cubby's eyes, with the first round robin. Zazel has linked up so well with Tomio. They tend to roam out together. They tend to have great setups around objectives together, where they bait in other teams into positions where they think they have a flank, and ta-da, it's Zazel who's flanking you. I really do like this look coming out from Disguise, because it feels like they're really starting to settle in with their own identity and the way they like to play the game.
And the thing I want to add too is that I've talked to Tomio earlier on in the split, and the big thing that they are kind of worried about and dealing with is that addition of Young and Meech, just because of the fact that, in his words, mid, 80 carry, 2 most important roles right now. So trying to get used to having new players on their team in that role, getting everyone aligned in their thinking and how they want to play the game has been the toughest thing for them, and why he believes they've been inconsistent for so long.
Mm-hmm. And because if you look at it right now as well, right, it's fun. Meech has been doing just better and better. We saw those highlight plays already. Yeah. But once again, Supernova need just one to not die.
That would be so bonkers.
Just not die.
Just one is all that is required. And this one could be it. So survival of the fittest or survival of the simplest. We have the answers for you with this draft. Let's see.
Survival of the simplest.
I don't know what that means, but we're going to keep it going anyway. Again, that foldy sheet we looked at earlier, this was under the assumption that DSG go 2-0 in this series, which is, let's be honest, it's more likely. You can see DSG have a little more wins than Supernova. They've been playing a little better in summer, but the thing that is so important here for teams like Supernova, Taco, and Maryville, they do have opportunities to take their fate into their own hands. And for Supernova, it starts right now against Disguised. One game, even splitting the series, would be monumental for the playoff push.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing, though. I do remember the last time these two teams faced off. Fake God got a huge upper hand against Quacker in that last one. Quacker was trying really, really hard to get these 1v1 plays, but Fake God, confident, very experienced player, was able to get the best of him. If you lose Quacker for Supernova, what do you really have left? That's the big question right there. Who else can really step up to the plate to swing for them?
We've been asking that all split long, Eric. Who else can carry on the side of Supernova? So far, we see them play so much through topside, through Quacker, and a lot of their big wins, and most of their wins, are when Quacker is able to play his signature champions and get this insane lead on things like Renekton, Olaf, the Cassante. And if none of that happens, Supernova can't do anything. So we got to look at Robbie Bob. We got to look at Sketch, who's playing up against Meech off the back of a hot pentakill that was in contention for play of the week. They are the ones who need to step it up to keep Supernova's playoff hopes alive.
And that's where we're going to be watching a lot, not just in the top lane, but in the bottom lane. Sketch has had a struggle this season so far to try and get any meaningful stats going. So if Meech, who is producing some of the best laning stats and some of the best mechanical play that we have in the league, continues performing at that level, it can realistically be a steamroll situation for DSG in the bottom lane.
We can. And of course, the Kaisa, we didn't see it mentioned at all in the last series. Still a very powerful champion on this patch. Is getting picked up there for Disguise. Quacker, we're having a little fun with the hover, but we all know you're not going to first pick the Darius. So instead, it's going to be the Jace Maokai. Very strong combination here on 1-2.
So that lock-in coming through, Meech. Being on the Kaisa, I always love seeing the Kaisa. It's one of my favorite marksmen to actually see on the Rift because of the way you can use her kit. You can be very, very aggressive and dive in with the rest of your squad into the back line As well as the Killer Instinct kind of serving
Good.
a dual purpose of repositioning. But if you want to dive with the back of your line, this is the champion to get it done. Nocturne and Kaisa going on to Sketch. Goodbye.
I mean, you want to talk about diving and following up. Tomio is happily to pull the trigger on this Nocturne very early here, just to give you an idea of what DSG are going to look for. And with the Rakan, like, I can already tell you what the rest of this draft is. We're just going all in. Everyone's putting on their swimming caps because we got some dive buddies going on here for Disguised.
Bring the snorkel beat. We're going to be diving deep this time. Oh, goodness gracious. I mean, the Nocturne and Kaisa work so well together to that fact because with the Rakan, you know, got some range issues you got to get through. You got to walk through the area. You got to make your way there. Nah. You got express delivery if you're on the Kaisa as well as the Nocturne. But response for Quacker, this is one of the picks we're looking out for. Renekton locked in for that top side.
Yeah, and it's been such a big one there for Quacker. One of the champions we highlighted, of course, Rumble needs to go immediately, and Supernova understands
Yeah,
it. So
there we go.
props to them. Some teams have not done so, and I'm very upset at them. This isn't the case. And maybe another top lane ban, Fake God's Way, something like the Jax that he's been really big on these last couple of weeks. Just something to give Quacker the best opportunity he can to have a strong topside performance, because that's so important to how Supernova play the game. He gets prio, he gets leads, and they use that to secure Rift Herald, snowball that gold into wins.
Now, one strategy I have seen from Supernova before that did result in a win, I forget against which team it was they actually played for bottom, and they just drafted Quacker, the counter pick, over in the top and let him facilitate on his own. It worked because one of the things you got to do for Supernova is get Sketch from the laning phase to the teamfight phase where you can actually have a bigger impact. So that's where it leads me to the next question. What are we going to get for the bottom lane? DSG are already banning for that lane. They've taken away the Ziggs and Seraphine. It's going to be a Rel locked in for Trevor.
Oh, that's an interesting hiccup there. I guess they want to wait until the very last moment to go for the AD carry. Want to see what Meech is going to be playing and whether or not it's actually going to be the Kaisa. So for DSG, the fact that Disguised are going for this hard dive composition, I wouldn't be surprised if there aren't going to be many, or if at all, tanks on their side. And if that comes through, Supernova has the opportunity to maybe put Sketch on the Ezreal, a champ that he's played a lot, has shown a lot of comfort on, and that mobility would be really useful, trying to avoid literally the entire household that DSG is trying to throw at you.
And quite literally throw. These bodies are going to be all over the map. Every
Flinging
single champion
themselves.
is just catapulting themselves into the front door of Supernova and trying to give a little gift in the form of a beatdown as this final lock-in comes in. It's the Karthus locked in for DSG. My goodness gracious. This is going in the mid lane. Is this a young pick?
This might actually be a
This might be
Meech
ADC.
pick. Yeah, I'm thinking it's
I see
a
it now.
Meech pick there.
Yeah, Kaisa's good in the mid.
Yeah, it's interesting because usually as Karthus, you want to be the only one building AP and going for magic damage, but Supernova, whoa. I don't know if I've ever seen Sketch play. Oh, wow. Okay, Sketch, we asked. We've been asking all split to see a carry performance. Do or die time. He locks in the Draven, a really aggressive pick, paired with Trevor's Rel. He has the opportunity to snowball this game. And if you're just looking at what Supernova have overall, Snowball is the name of the game because they have a lot of early game power, a lot of mid game power. A late game is all disguised, baby, so you are on the clock.
Oh my goodness. I'm looking for Draven play right now from Sketch because I don't know him as a Draven player. Yeah. Apparently he played it twice when he was on Cincinnati Fear last year in summer, so it is something that he does have in his playbook. But as you said, Beat, this is the concern for me. It is do or die, quite literally. If this bot lane doesn't get going, it's not going anywhere. The tires are flat, and you're pretty much just trying to get it out of the mud. Yeah,
literally, like, it's not playable if you lose out in this early game. It's impossible. So the pressure's on for Supernova and Supernova fans. Remember, playoff hopes are on the line. Even though getting 2-0'd means they still have a chance to lock in a playoff spot, a single win here would do wonders for those chances.
No, what a middle finger to the Foldy sheet it would be if Supernova actually take one win
I'd
against
respect
DSG right here.
I'd respect it.
Speaking of, let us know in chat who you think is going to win. DSG for Disguised, SN for Supernova. Get those votes rolling. Show your support. Also, use the hashtag NACL on Twitter if you want any of your comments towards the games read on here. But here we go. Second series of the day, DSG Supernova.
Go ahead and spam in chat who you think is going to win. Of course, DSG for Disguise and SN for Supernova. We got a lot of Disguised fans in the chat. Yeah, well, you didn't say it right, so I had to say it again.
My bad.
Yeah, do better next time, Eric.
Okay,
You thought of that?
Make sure to spam in chat who you think is going to win. DSG for Disguised.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Now, who else for Supernova? What do I type for Supernova?
You type in SN.
Yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about, Eric. What else do I got to do? Come on.
You got to type in the hashtag NACL on Twitter.
Yeah.
And subscribe to the Twitch channel.
Okay, he goes 3 for 3. That's my boy, Eric.
Yeah, you know, we do give a lot of love to Turo for being one of our sponsors. That revenue does get shared with the teams. But if you want to support the teams, as I just said, and get some fancy emotes alongside it, go ahead and subscribe to our Twitch channel, both here in LCS_Challengers and the path to LCS. You'll get your own custom little emotes with it. And 50% of the proceeds do go to the teams themselves.
That's right, by subscribing, not only do you get some cool, sweet emotes, you put money directly into the hands of teams and players. So if you want to support NA Challengers, if you want to support NA Tier 2, put your money where your mouth is and hit the subscribe.
All right. The shilling has been done. Oh, wait, one more.
One more?
There we go.
Yeah, of course.
Subscribe to grab them all. All right, now the shilling's done. Let's get on to the rift of what's going on here. Tomio is going to go for that full clear. I do expect to see a bit of power farming on Tomio because that level 6, such an important point for a Nocturne.
Absolutely. When we see that paranoia come through, you got to imagine that is the catalyst for all the all-in potential that Disguised are playing for. And even though they have tools to play early on, the fact that Zeyzal is still on this recon can sync up with his jungler, like you talked about in the pre-show, Eric, to get the ball rolling for Disguised's favor. Because if any kills you get, any way you get to stifle Supernova's early game, this is going to make the next 15 minutes even harder.
Yeah. If we even get to that point, depending on how fast Supernova DSG really want to play this game. And already going into the jungle at the moment is going to be Trevor, just trying to spot out where this Nocturne's going to be. Does have a deep ward onto that Golem camp. Again, Nocturne is not the most active early level jungler. You only have, the tethers to get that fear for crowd control. Yeah. It's the Maokai you have to be a little bit more vigilant of.
Definitely. Nocturne is one of those junglers where you have a gank opportunity if the enemy's trolling. That's basically, they gotta be way pushed up. It's the easiest gank in the history of ganks. That's probably the only time we're gonna see Tomio go for something in those first 2 clears. So both junglers going for that full clear, just doing the nice little handshake of Scuttle Crabs. Remember, Supernova, onus is on them. What do you got for us in these first 15 minutes here? Even if music recalls now, what does he do after the recall? Where is he ganking? Who's he setting up? I have a hint for you guys. The Draven.
And it's a good point to really bring up, because Supernova in the past, they have gotten leads against some pretty good teams. I think last week it was Evil Geniuses they had early leads on in both games. But when it came to the mid game, it didn't seem like they knew what they wanted to do afterwards. Right. So hopefully getting that, fixed up for Supernova and having a mid game playbook to really keep accelerating the game with, it's something that Supernova definitely have to work on more coming into this game.
They do. We talked about potentially denying resources from Supernova. I mean, look at what Tomio did. He took the Raptors respawn. It's a lot of experience that he denied there from Music as he goes for his second clear. And it's just these little things that are going to make the game harder for Supernova to play. And of course, Frizzy on Twitter, happy Supernova Saturday. And a happy Supernova Saturday to you. As if you want to get your tweets on stream, you know what to do. Hashtag NACL on Twitter.
There's Fish Taco Fridays, Supernova Saturdays. What about Disguised?
Disguised Monday?
Do we go with the owner? Do we go to Toast and just say it's Toast Tuesdays or something?
But that's not the team name, so we can't.
It's not the team name. It's not the team name.
It's a work in progress. We'll figure it out.
All right, here we go. A little bit of an exchange. Looked fancier than it actually...
It looked fun.
Looked a lot of fun. Yeah. Didn't really cause anything, but it looked fun.
Yeah, that's fine. And for the moment here, Supernova, we keep talking about Sketch, wanting to see him step up and carry, and he's putting on the carry pants. with this Draven pick in the bottom lane. We'll see if they actually fit him and how he's playing it out. Because, of course, he's stacking the adoration. Oh! Quacker!
Oh!
Oh!
Are you kidding me,
my.
Quacker? The first time these two faced off, Quacker could not best Fake God. In the rematch, he's ready.
I'm so sorry, Quacker. I was talking about bot. I was not familiar with your game. I didn't think you were going to do him like that. But it's as you said, Eric. Quacker couldn't do anything against Fake God the first time around. And Quacker, he took that personally.
That's gracious. Great. Great for Supernova and great for Quacker because you still have that power that is the top side. It's something we highlighted so much for Supernova. Now they look for a little bit more, only going to get the stun on Meech. But to start Supernova, we're looking for.
And on DSG side, they will get the first dragon, so that is a little something, even though they are falling behind just a little tiny bit in terms of gold. I will say that entirely is on Quacker between the first blood and the plate gold he picked up. And that's okay, because Supernova, they usually don't care about stacking dragons early on. A stat they are at the top of the charts in is that Rift Herald percentage. They are going back and forth with TLC, actually, on who has the highest Rift Herald control. It's a big point of power for Supernova. When Quacker gets a solo bolo like that, you gotta believe he's gonna be nice and strong for when the purple armadillo comes up. I almost said worm, but we're not there yet.
Armadillo, you know?
I mean, is it not?
I just thought of it as like giant crab people, but yeah, armadillo actually works.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, that does spawn pretty soon. So Music right now is going to get the reset to try and play around that area and make sure that this powerful top laner is going to continue asserting authority up there. I mean, right now he's like #1 in solo kills. I believe he was tied with, I forget who. He was tied with someone else, and now he just took first place with that kill.
Yeah, really nicely done there from Quacker. Gets all that pressure that you're hoping for. I will say Tomio, worth noting, has reached level 6 a little bit sooner than Music. There's an opportunity for him to actually go towards that top side if he really wants to and set something up. But it's looking like DSG are very content, just continuously farming, playing it nice and slow because you can afford to let this first Rift Herald go.
I did just double check. It was Zamudo from last game who
wow.
he was tied with. And now Quacker going to be in sole possession of first place when it comes to solo kills.
Unless
Still got to feel good.
Didn't Zamudo get a solo kill? Did I imagine that?
Yes, you did, because it doesn't fit my narrative.
Ah, okay, you're right. My bad. My bad.
All right, Supernova doing exactly as you said, Beat. They are starting up that Rift Herald. They're going to play around that position of power, which is Quacker.
It's been the game plan time and time again. And oh!
Paranoia comes out. The flash. Going to be found by Robbie Bob. Tomio happy to get that, but Robbie Bob wants to return fire. You're walking right up into Young, though, brother.
Yeah, that's a little dangerous there. You get your Q, and then you just walk away with that one. So he drops a good amount of health as a result of that. Has to blow his flash as well, which means Tomio can just do that again when that ultimate comes off of cooldown. You can just see how powerful that ultimate is when it comes to isolating targets with how quickly you can make these plays on them. So that's something Tomio is looking to do later on into the side lane as well. So Quacker and Robbie Bob, they're going to have to be careful. They're going to watch for when the light turns out.
Once it goes dark, Tomio can be anywhere, and it's already about halfway onto that cooldown.
Yeah.
So a little bit more time. See Tomio attempting another gank and trying to punish the fact that that flash is down for Robbie Bob. And this comes at a good time as well. Dragon will be spawning in 1:30. Robbie Bob will likely use the teleport to get back in as Young shoves in the wave. If you can get that punish once again with the Paranoia, there's no flash, there's no teleport, that would set Robbie Bob behind by a lot.
And it would be just in time for that second Drake coming through in 1:20. Something Disguise can easily play for. And of course, we have our eyes still on the Eye of the Herald that Music is sitting on to see where he actually wants to drop that one. Of course, is well past level 6, has the Nature's Grasp ready to go. And this bot lane has been so good for Sketch and Trevor so far. They've had constant prio, constant pressure. And Sketch is just sitting on so many stacks waiting to cash in on. So actually, even though we see Supernova play heavy for topside most of the time, use some of this golden pressure on the bottom side. Music. Sketch needs help on this Draven so that he can start the snowball.
A lot of Draven players, they tend to just like farm up and play it pseudo safe. And the moment they see an angle, they just go insane onto it. And it's because of the first stacks. You really want that cash in to be meaningful.
Yeah.
If Sketch were, like, if we were to go 5 minutes without a cash in and Sketch were to die, that would be catastrophic for the bottom.
Yes. Oh,
here we go again. Looking for that gank in the mid. It should be one more. Auto has to step up. Tomio will be able to grab it. Young flashes out. A little bit of slow coming out from the red buff now. Tomio in a bad position. Music, Trevor, both going to chase through. Here comes the whirling death. Tomio's able to block it for his mid laner.
I actually think that would have executed Young if he ended up hitting him, but DSG will happily come out on top. They lose out priority on that dragon because Tomio is low health. Young had to recall and TP back, so this should be an easy pickup for the side of Supernova as we see Young TP back into this lane. But it's actually Supernova are backing off.
And that was a perfect move to come out from the squad of Disguise right there, just knowing that Flash is going to be down. You're looking to set up for this dragon, punish out Robbie Bob. Now Robbie Bob, again, that teleport was down, so he had to walk back to lane. That's a lot of time he's losing out on these minions. Against Young, who has a static shiv, is going to be perma pushing.
Right, and you can see it. Another play like that will really set Robbie Bob far back. You can already see the CS lead start to grow there into Young's favor. As Supernova, a little delayed, but will be able to go for the dragon that they are well set up for. They dropped Herald mid, so not as much gold as Supernova or Music might be hoping for. Still, I'm waiting to see some attention, some love paid towards Sketch on the bottom lane. I need that Draven cash in if Supernova are going to win this game.
Tomio's like, you mean me? Me?
No,
Want
no,
some
no,
love?
not you,
Want
not
some
you.
love, buddy?
No, no, no,
Want some
no.
love? Let's put out the lights and let's go. As here we go, Tomio showing up, wants to find Sketch. Ignite burning him down, and Sketch just heads for the hills. He doesn't want to lose his adoration stacks, but he will lose his support to Meech.
That's got to feel so good. Even though you hold on to the stacks, Meech on this Karthus, who's going to do so much damage in the late game, it feels great. Any gold you get for a champ who scales so hard is just a fantastic feeling. And you get enough pressure to go ahead and get a turret plate as well. They won't overstay, so Music has no angle. And Supernova kind of stalled out so far in game one.
Yeah, they have a threshold they're trying to reach, but it's a struggle so far. Even with Tomio putting that attention onto Sketch to completely ruin his day. Would have been a little bit better if you could have gotten the kill on Sketch and reset his adoration stacks, but that's really the silver lining right now, is that Sketch is holding on to those stacks, still has a chance to cash in.
Yeah. And what a big cash in it would be, Eric. 115 CS. I'm not going to try and do that math. Maybe you can if you know the conversion, but the point is, it would be a lot of gold into his pockets, and we're still waiting to see that one happen. Supernova, or rather Disguised, you're chilling right now. Down 800 gold on a comp with Karthus Kaisa? You're laughing. They're laughing in the voice comms right now, Eric. You're not worried about anything.
As this Karthus starts to scale, all it takes is one press of R to start ruining things. Not trying to ruin things right now. Quacker will take a plate.
Oh, my bad. My bad. My bad.
What the hell?
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. I just won't ever question you again. Like,
it's the Quack attack, man. You cannot doubt it.
You can't. And that's 2 solo kills. The Gore Drinker going crazy here in this matchup. I don't know, man. Even with turret plates falling, like, this turret's done and dusted. And that is first brick over to this Renekton. He doesn't need jungle attention. He says, go on and help Sketch, Music. I got this handled all by myself.
Quacker against one of our top laners in Fake God. 2 solo kills, man. 2 solo kills. He's beating the living daylights out of this man, and now he will take the first brick over on that top side. That's a lot of gold for the Croc.
That is, and at this point, Supernova, even with this gold lead, it is largely, if not entirely, on Quacker at the moment. Whatever play Supernova makes for this man is going to go absolutely wonderfully for the side of Supernova. But we're still looking at the bottom side. Music is here, allowing Sketch to go ahead and hit this turret uninterrupted, which is good. That turret gold will do wonders for this Draven and allow Sketch to get a little further ahead. You see he has a small CS lead, but this is where that difference is really going to start to come through. And when that Triforce comes through, he's going to be really strong.
So Paranoia used over in the top side, and there it is. Young using that express delivery.
He lives!
The Requiem. No way. Is Quacker going to survive this? Quacker survives?
Well, how much health is that? How much health is that? I gotta know. Oh, we're never gonna. We don't know.
No, we lost.
It's like
okay.
double
It's okay.
digit,
We can bug
maybe.
them. We can bug them for the replay to see the health.
Yeah,
I can't believe he survived.
So much use there. 2 ults, a flash from Tomio. They don't get a kill, but they will give Fake God the opportunity to hit this turret. He's got to back away, though. He knows the teleport is off. He knows his team is on the other side of the map. They had to back off, so he can't take that risk. So really, nothing really gained.
What a great escape from Quacker. And now taking a look at the gold of Quacker, 1K above Young, the highest economy in the game so far. Was able to finish that Sterix gauge just right out the gate, so 2 items already completed 16 minutes in for this Gator.
I'm actually really scared of what he's going to be able to do in these team fights, Eric. Bring him to a dragon fight. The only sad thing is he teleported to the top side.
Oh, true.
Yeah, so 40 seconds on this Drake. He's got to start walking his way down ahead of time, and it's looking like that's what DSG are banking on. They have actually moved towards this top side, their mid jungle specifically, and they have Herald to play for. So getting gold on Young would be pretty good, especially with how much of a lead he has on Robbie Bob.
Taking a look at the stacks that Sketch has, quick math says it's about like 950 gold if he gets a cash in. So
oh, you did the math. Nice.
Yeah, that'd be pretty nice right there for Sketch if he can get that kill, if he can get the adoration stacks in. But it also really puts a big target on his head at a time where the dragon is spawning and there might be some contention around there.
Right. It is good for Sketch that he has both his summoner spells and has that Trinity Force online on top of the Dirk. He's in a pretty strong position at the moment here. DSG will have to throw a lot at him if they want to secure a kill. But I'm going to be honest, SRX, if you throw everyone at Sketch, and even if you lose the fight, if you get rid of those adoration stacks, that's worth.
Win.
Yeah, that's a huge win.
I believe it's half the stack. No, it's 75%.
75%,
of the stacks
yeah.
get removed off of kill, which is
tilting.
Yeah, that's a lot of gold taken away. He's almost at 1,000 right now if he cashes in. Only getting 250 would be incredibly tilting. Look at this right now. Rift Herald goes out. Gonna give solo gold over to Young.
Want.
The same time, Supernova puts their attention onto that Drake.
And you can see the CS lead just continue to grow for this Kaisa. And right now,
Quacker's like, can you do it? Can you do it? Step up. Dare ya.
Nah,
Step into my swamp.
I'll tell you right now, they don't want anything of what Quacker's serving up. That's why you're going to see them walk away. They almost get the tier 2, but it's still a lot of gold here. Young, when we last checked at the gold, was right behind Quacker. You got to imagine they're about even, if not Young coming ahead because of the turret gold, because of the CS that you see him have and the assist kill that he's sitting on. Kaisa in a very powerful position here, and you can see it. Okay, so he's still a little behind Quacker, but he's about 1,000 over Robbie Bob.
That's still great for Young, though, because he is going that poke build. You want a lot of economy when you do go it, especially having a static shiv on top of it.
Yeah.
And this means that, realistically, DSG kind of have a poke comp coming out. Requiem you can use without even getting into a fight. So a lot of this damage will add up as they posture up. It forces the hand of Supernova to react.
Yeah, and getting people like Young and Meech closer to that 2-item mark is so important for DSG, especially Young on the Kaisa. You play Kaisa in her current form in this meta on 1 item, you're like, why am I playing this champion? And then you build Nashers too, and they're like, oh, I see. And that's the position you want Young to be in at the moment here. He's getting closer and closer. You can see the components that he is sitting on, and when he has that evolved Void Seeker, it gets pretty annoying as the recipient of that damage.
And it's so nice to have the Kaisa in the side lanes. Killer Instinct has a pretty long range onto it. So if you need Young to get over here to try and defend, it's not going to take as long, but still takes a bit of time, and that might not be time that DSG have. Here comes the dive from Supernova, and the cash-in! 1,000 plus gold for Sketch. And we'll get traded away on a kill. The tower's going to go down, and still following through. Robbie Bob able to bring down the hammer, but the flash comes in time to get Fake God to safety. A flash forward. Young shows up, able to get the autos onto Robbie Bob, and the cash-in successful for Supernova after a scrap with DSG.
That's what they needed, Eric, on top of the turret gold. It becomes so worth, even though you go 2 for 1 against DSG on the dive. And now, keep an eye on Sketch, everyone. You see what he's sitting on in the inventory. I want to see what he comes back with. Remember, it was a Dirk and a pickaxe on top of the Mythic, and it's just a great setup coming through from Trevor. The Rel ult into the Maokai ulti, gets the cash in we were praying and asking for on the side of Supernova. And even though DSG did get a kill up, still more gold for SN, and it cost them a teleport to make it happen.
Okay, here it is. Check it out. Collector and a BF sword.
Collector and a BF
inventory
sword.
just like that.
Ridiculous. And now, that's it. He's the strongest guy in the game besides Quacker. And Supernova, they have the tools. Sketch, this is it, man. You're in the driver's seat. So now we got to see if he can actually drive Supernova to a win.
He's climbed from the Giga extended truck bed, through the back window, now crawling over the lap of Trevor, saying it's my turn to drive. And he's gonna have to. He has the itemization to really bring the damage for these fights for Supernova. And it puts Supernova in a great position because now it's not just Quacker, it's Quacker and Sketch.
That's right. When Robbie Bob gets that Muramana fully stacked up as well, he's going to be doing a lot of extra damage too. I will note, Young, he's finished that Gnasher's Tooth. Meech getting towards item number 2. I see an NLR, so it would be really pog if it was a Rabadon's second, just for that insane item spike coming through here. And that's basically DSG's window. Even though they're down 3,000 gold, you get that second item on Meech, you're actually in a pretty solid position to team fight. You just have to be able to jump on members like Sketch right out of the gate.
DSG can still really DPS down Sketch in a fast and hurried manner with the level of dive that they have, both Tomio and Young. So right now, Supernova are posturing around this dragon side. If they get this, it would get them over at Soul Point. They do have a lot of priority thanks to Quacker pushing in the wave. Same thing with Sketch in the mid lane. But it doesn't seem to be the greatest priority for Supernova right now. And that's going to be my question for Supernova. Now that you have a lead, what are you prioritizing coming into this mid game?
I'll tell you what, it better be that dragon, Eric, because that Infernal Soul is going to be so crucial as well for Supernova. Yes, they have a lead, but Disguised, as we highlighted, are reaching crucial item spikes. They're going to be at a moment where they're going to be able to fight. So this Soul, especially as a team that has unfavorable scaling, is something that you greatly desire. And I like what Supernova are doing. The bulk of their members on this top side, because they know DSG shouldn't be fighting for this Drake, just so they can make sure nothing too much is lost on the other side, and they still get their Soul Point.
With that Soul Point locked in through Sketch, who has gold for days, man. It's nice to see Sketch finally have that return to form. It really did feel like stepping into the support role he did last spring off that role swap, coming back to marksman. It felt like he was really behind the curve due to all that time he committed into that role.
Right, and he was a player who, in years past, watching the Tier 2, Tier 3 scene in League of Legends in North America, he's a player who was pretty good on his pocket picks. Things like the Sivir, the Tristana, those late-game kind of carry champions here. We don't see a lot of Draven from a player like him, but he's bringing it out today. He's in a good spot, and that question we've been asking all split, who else can carry on this team, could very well be answered in Game 1 today.
Supernova, the map state, now into their favor as they really start to shove in these waves. They still want to shove in this top wave over here. Got plenty of time to do it. Dancing around for the next objective should be Baron side more than anything else. It's 4 minutes before we actually get the next dragon. Supernova, for them, I don't want to see them accelerate this too much and try and contest around Baron. I want to see that contention around the Dragon Soul.
Oh, wait, you said, no, Eric, no, we want to fight for the Baron. Trust me, look how strong everyone is. Yes, you need to accelerate. Put your foot on the gas. And they don't have to do it right now. But I'm saying that's why you're seeing this vision-focused topside. This is the only thing to focus for, or rather, have your sights set on. And if DSG ever show an opportunity where Tomio happens to be spotted out on the other side of the map and Supernova are nearby, that's a Baron take.
My biggest worry is that Supernova have blundered in the mid-game. I still want to see this calculated, but you do got a point. When you have this much aggression drafted and having the economy you have, let's take fights. Let's swing. Let's bring the heaviest hands we can into the face of DSG. And it seems like they're going to play to exactly the game plan you were saying, Beat. Still dancing around this Baron area, contesting alongside DSG.
Right, and you can see it. Supernova strong enough on the map to dissuade and overstay there from Disguised. But at the moment, no one wants to actually pull the trigger on anything. We see Quacker just finished the GA, So he is a monster on the side lane, and I like him on this bottom side for 2 reasons. One, he has teleport in case Baron becomes a play, but also if he draws enough pressure by pushing the wave far enough, that could be that window I was talking about, where Supernova will have the option to start off the Baron. Because you can see the gold lead is starting to taper off. They were at about 3,000 before. Now they've lost about 1K with all the gold Young has picked up, and with some of the kills that DSG got about 5-10 minutes ago.
It's not going to be as wild as it was in the matchup of Fake God versus Quacker, because at this point, Fake God has itemized a lot of tanking stats. Thornmail's completed. Same thing with the Steel Plated. And tank up now, but Supernova, they're just going to go straight for the play in the mid lane. Able to get a root through. Still trying to find Zeyzal. Magnet Storm going to be used, but not really landing on anything.
That's kind of brutal there for Supernova. It seems like they weren't fully sure if they wanted to commit or not. I didn't see the Twisted Advance come through from Music. It could have helped layer that CC better. And that's 2 ultimates. So you gave up a lot of space on the map as a result. Even with your lead, now DSG feel very empowered to go ahead and clear out this vision you're seeing. No matter how many saplings tossed, in fact, they just want to pull the trigger and start the Baron right now. I think they're baiting Quacker's teleport. I imagine they're going to get off right after that.
Ooh, teleport being channeled. So they know it's coming up. Here we go. Paranoia going through. They want to land on the Sketch. Not exactly going to get onto him, but Zeyzal will. Requiem being sung. A big chunk of damage coming through. Sketch at about half health. Whirling Death lands onto DSG, and they're starting to retreat now. They don't have much left to really fight with, so they don't want to take this on with their tools being used. But Fake God over the wall. Quacker wants to be there, though. He says, I own this jungle, Fake God, and still continues the chase, forcing out the flash from Young. Supernova bully away disguised.
And wow, that was the fight Disguise were trying to make happen. They gave away some gold, and they use so many crucial team fighting tools. We're 40 seconds from the Drake. Some of these things won't be back in time, especially not summoner spells like Young or Meech's Flash. So Supernova, they're in a really good spot to get this Dragon Soul, that kind of final piece in the puzzle here for Supernova to get this win they so desperately need so they can fight for playoffs.
But look at these calls coming out from DSG. They realize the situation going on with Dragon, and they're going to force the Baron once again beat.
I don't know, man. This is dangerous. You don't have most of your ults back, but look at Trevor. Look at Music. They have their ultimates ready to go. Quacker almost has the dominance as well as he's level 16.
Oh, Paranoia. They're trying to find Sketch. Sketch has no more summoners available, but next to the tower, Young goes in, and they collapse on Young right away. Supernova! An explosion of catastrophic proportions into the face of Disguise as they chase him away off an engage that DSG made. Quacker bites down for one more.
DSG, they were feeling the pressure. They thought it was now or never, and unfortunately, it cost them the Dragon Soul. Supernova pick up stacks of gold, and they get one of the strongest buffs in the game. Now all that extra damage is there, and they have everything they need to make it happen. And it was off the fact that DSG, they saw an angle, no summoner spells on this Draven. They thought maybe we could make it happen, but Trevor's interference was too good. So not only do they get the soul, but look in the picture-in-picture. Now, Supernova also get the Baron.
Not just Trevor's interference, the whole team. There was a stack of bodies between DSG getting to their target, and now Supernova, Baron, gonna go down. Fake God posturing up. Tomio is a little bit too far away. Can he get close enough before it gets hammered by Robbie Bob? Baron going over to Supernova.
Oh my God, Eric, it's happening. Supernova, they get the Turtle Baron
Screw
buff
your foldy
there.
sheet, man.
8,000 gold up, and that's right, Josh. Foldy sheet, schmoldy sheet, as Supernova are well on their way to win a much-needed game and in a much-needed upset.
Turo, Baron buff, picked up by Supernova alongside the Dragon Soul. A reminder, Supernova is one of your bottom 2 teams. They're a win away from getting over to Maryville and breaking out from this bottom 2 to making it into playoffs. This is a huge, significant win, given how tough their strength of schedule is going to be. They still have to face off against AoE. They still have to face off against FlyQuest. But to start the week on the right foot like this, taking such a great performance against DSG, it bodes so well for Supernova beat.
And we said it. Even if they got 2-0 today, they would still have chances. But the way to take fate into your own hands is taking games off teams like DSG, like FlyQuest. And it's like you said, it would be starting off week 6 on the right foot. As long as Supernova can close it out. At this point, they have everything they need. You have a 4-item Draven, 3.5-item Renekton in Quacker. All it takes is one good fight, and Supernova are going up 1-0.
Dr. Dre is here to play, piloted by Sketch as he wails away on to the tower. It will fall. Inhibitor follows right after. And Supernova walking around like they own the place because there's not a thing DSG can do about it. If they dive in, you saw how fast those divers get deleted.
That's right, Supernova. They're not going to push their luck. They take bottom Inhibitor, and they're going to be able to break down the rest of the map here. They've set their sights on the mid-tier too, and they still have this Turtle Baron buff for another minute's time, and it's just going to be more gold that they are stacking here. The thing is, Supernova, we're 3 minutes till the Elder Drake. They have everything they need to end it now. I want to see them push the close.
Supernova looking for that close. Teleport. Robbie Bob is here. Sketch still farming up and collecting axes. Another inhibitor goes down. DSG yet to find an answer as they turtle. Supernova have taken 2 inhibs.
I'm surprised we saw the teleport come through from Robbie Bob. Okay, this is more what I'm talking about. If you're going to teleport like that, it's because you're trying to make a push for the end, and there it is.
I like the idea. It would have been very shocking and surprising to just see Supernova bounce right onto your domes.
You know what? If it was a Chemtech map, that would have been the end of the game. I'll tell you that much.
For all the flame we give Chemtech, when we need it most, it's not here.
Yeah, right? I mean, the soul's bad. But the map is super cool. Either way, this is the map that we're looking at right now. Young is being as annoying as he can, but I promise you, every W he lands in this situation is insignificant. DSG are in the hole for about 9K. And what an incredible performance for Supernova, who needed this win as much as any other team at the bottom of the standings, especially with a comp that depended so heavily on their early game success.
And this performance, I do want to give so much credit to Quacker for how this game has gone, because it allowed Music to be a little bit more free with the way he wanted to play the map, knowing Quacker was getting solo kills against Fake God, and now he's dinged again, level 18. This is a very, very mad duck, alligator, man, bear, beast.
Crazy Avatar the Last Airbender hybrid animal, you know what we mean. And Quacker on top of it, he has the Spirit Visage. MR feels so good facing up against AP Kaisa and also the Karthus. This is why I said in draft, Karthus likes to be solo AP, solo magic damage. And Meech is feeling the brunt of that just a little bit. It's going to be harder for anyone to take down Quacker. And with this third inhibitor, this is where Disguise have to make their last stand.
Magic resist online for Supernova. So they posture up for the end, popping the ultimate through. They begin the race over to Disguise. Here comes the Paranoia. They're looking for the backline. They want to find Sketch once again. He's still looking A-OK, though, as he throws away axes. And Quacker just dives into the face of Disguise and rips him apart with a gator roll. Limbs go flying. The Requiem gives a courtesy gift, but it's not really that much. It's Supernova triple inhibs as they take another team fight.
And this is unfortunate, though. They get so much extra gold, but look at these health bars. They're hesitant about pushing for the end, but they need to. Elder is coming up. You don't want to flip this game. We got the teleports coming through, and Eric Supernova, they did it!
They're doing it 10 and 20 on the season in risk of relegations against DSG, a team expected to best them. Supernova rise and take game 1.
And when I tell you this was a must-win, that people from Supernova needed to step up, I meant it. And I'll tell you what, Sketch, we've been ragging on him all split, but this game, he stepped up. Quacker keeps on putting crazy performances like he always did, and Supernova, they got the dub.
Man, they got Sketch into the truck bed, drove him around a little bit, said, don't step out that way, it is okay. We will raise you up to be the best dog possible. And boy, does he got that dog in him with that last performance, man. I mean, that cash-in was, what, or around 1,200 gold? I didn't see the actual number. I knew what the stacks were about, like, 1050, but that was a massive cash-in where he got Collector and BF Sword, and from there out, it was all Supernova.
And DSG, they didn't really have any way of getting on top of this Draven. Every opportunity you saw, the fights weren't looking good, or they peeled for him so well on the side of SN, and Sketch was just having a great time. Basically, having his hand held through the laning phase, getting protected in these team fights, and he was able to dish out the pain.
Step number 1 for Supernova to try and avoid that relegation tournament done, but it is a best of 2. They got to face off once again. We are going to throw it to a short break. Before we do, though, I'm going to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, and that is going to be Turo. LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car sharing marketplace where you can find any car you want for just about any occasion. Forget about those boring rentals with Turo. We'll be right back.